You know things are about to get very serious when you see yours truly wearing a white shirt. Oh yeah, it's about to go down. Anyway, the live stream is right around the corner, as we all know. By the time I'm recording this video, it is right around the corner in May 23rd. Time to record this video is May 20, and I think it is high time we talk about some of the things that I would love to see fixed or added in Neverness to Everness. Now, of course, this will vary from player to player. I'm not saying this is the thing Hada Studio has to follow. However, I personally would love to see some of this being added to the game and some of the things to be tweaked and fixed within the game. Some I think are more general and a lot of us can just simply agree on. Others are just some additions that obviously it will vary from player to player, especially players that may have been influenced by other games, for example, Wuthering Waves Flight, etc., etc., right? So please take some of the things that I personally would like to change and how a type of players would like to see changed or added in the game with a little bit of a grain of salt, and please be respectful and have a constructive conversation in what we think should be some of the things we encourage Hada Studio to fix / add into Neverness to Everness, because I do feel like Neverness to Everness has definitely hit the ground running despite all the controversy surrounding it, despite all the oh yeah, it died before launch and everything. And I was one of the people that thought that too, but the fact is it came out at the best time it could come out as. Genshin Impact, one of the biggest competitors, boycotted. The AI controversy, if anything, helped propulse it. It's even NTE's popularity is even helping its direct competitor Ananta with more pre-registration. I feel like NTE has definitely created a new form of players within the community. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the NTE community currently is by far the best community I've been part of. It reminds me of like the Wuwa community from back in the day, but not as close because we still had a little bit of the Genshin boys over there. But this one feels more purified, better, more mature and disciplined, right? I genuinely appreciate the NTE community. But anyway, I do want to go over some of the things that I do feel like NTE should be going over, fixing / implementing, because let's call a spade a spade. Tower of Fantasy has definitely tarnished to some of the reputation that Hada Studio has. Now, whilst they have definitely recovered a lot of that through Neverness to Everness success, we still are a little, yeah, we don't know. And the 1.1 live stream, 1.2, and more especially 2.0 is definitely going to be the crossroad. That's the crossroad. It's either going to go the proper way where we're going to keep investing in its live service model or not, right? It's going to be another Tower of Fantasy or I don't know, maybe a Zenless Zone Zero or something like that, like a good game but not the game to be playing, all right? Depending on taste, of course. Not trying to diminish Zenless Zone Zero's players. I'm just saying that they're not as popular as the other big four, right? So I've kept some points in my playthrough. I like to keep some points. When I notice something, I like to take notes in some of the things I would like to see whether added or fixed within the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gacha.
Let's start off with a small detail here, which is the motorbike / car is only usable by the MC. Your characters, your other units, cannot pilot your vehicles, all right? I feel like that's a bit of an issue because I kind of would like to point out one of Gacha Smack's video where he literally made a video where he went over how, let's just say, attractive the characters look like, the female characters especially, look like while piloting a motorbike. That is impossible to do in NTE, and I don't understand why. I feel like personally limiting driving to just the MC feels a little bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, we literally pay for these characters. The least we can have, of course, is to see them pilot the vehicles we've also worked on obtaining within the game. Also, while we at it, why not add riding suits, a skin that is specifically designed for each character on what they would be wearing if they, for example, they are driving a motorbike, right? Obviously, they're not going to be limited to just that one skin while driving, but I feel like it's a good addition nonetheless. I feel like riding suits are incredibly awesome and quite attractive, and some of the females, if I do say so myself. And so I do feel like it would be a cool addition. Also, speaking of skins, I do feel like we should have voice lines that are specific and special to the skin itself. For example, the Nanali sleepy type of skin, right, where she just hangs out at home. I feel like she could have a more, you know, less energetic vibe to her voice lines rather than, you know, how energetic Nanali is. I feel like that would be a better hit. I'm pretty sure they have different voice lines there, but the delivery though feels kind of weird in my opinion. So like maybe we should definitely revisit some of the voice lines and the delivery of the voice lines within specific skins. Also, while still on the topic of vehicles as well, I do want to talk about maybe adding a little bit of quick time events while driving. I feel like races are pretty decent, but they don't feel too special, right? They don't feel anime-like, in my opinion. I feel like we need some of that, some of those effects, some of that anime feel to the races. I feel like, for example, if you're going high speed and like you're in this very hard turn, you could have like maybe a skill or like an ultimate while driving, which can allow you to proc maybe a quick time event of like where you can just make a crazy turn. Or for example, if like characters could have like special abilities. For example, Hotori could stop time except for itself in her car, where she could like use that time stop within the turn to make a perfect turn, for example, something crazy, right? Which could be very cool qualities of life when it comes to driving. But I would love for us, while still talking about these qualities of life like this, to put a little bit of a pin on qualities of life being locked behind characters. We gotta readdress this very soon again. And before I move on from driving, I feel like the bike is incredibly cool, right? Especially when you have the flaming wheels. That's very impressive. The problem is though, why can't I jump with it? I feel like that's such a missed opportunity. One of the things I love to do in Wuthering Waves, for example, with its bike is jumping around. I feel like it's a very cool mechanic and it really helps. What the hell you mean I always have to brake ledges to be able to turn sometimes, etc.? Like, why can't I just jump? And especially like when you jump, like the fire can jump up with you. That'd be very, very cool. I don't know about you, but I think that would be very, very dope. And finally, to top off, whether it's the vehicles or the characters, I feel like we need a little bit of smoothness of movement, fluidity. I feel like the movement is slightly rigid, not too much, which to some players could be attractive, but to me personally, not so much. Maybe we could just turn it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to reach Wuthering Waves level, but maybe we could turn it up just a little bit where it feels more of a AAA experience than not. Because I feel like this also extends further to combat as well, where sometimes I feel like it's somewhat rigid, which again, some players, that's what they like, because it's closer to Genshin Impact, but not to the same level of speed. Like with Ingress, like it's like a nice middle, but maybe just a little bit more salt. Like you don't need to have as much salt to reach with Ingress, but just a small pinch. I think that would be very nice. Let's move on to combat, and more specific, where you use combat the most, the daily grind. Where in the hell and who in Hada Studio haven't decided yet that we need an overflow system / a condensed stamina system? For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, the overflow system is, say for example, you don't log in for a day, that stamina overflows and you have like this secondary resource where all the stamina you haven't spent is saved there for like up to 2-3 days, all right? I think that's fantastic, and I think we should encourage a certain degree of a lack of penalization for not being able to log in every single day, for touching grass, for having a life, for going outside, right? For being busy. Sometimes things happen, okay? Why the hell don't we have the overflow system yet, or the condensed system? Because sometimes you do log in, but you just want to get the premium currency. You don't feel like doing the stamina. It happens to me a lot. Like I'm so burnt out, but I still need to keep up with the premium currency. For example, if you have the daily pass, the monthly pass, like you have to log in to claim your full pool. So it's incredibly penalizing to not log in when you have that, but sometimes I don't feel like doing the stamina. So why can't I just condense it like I would in Genshin Impact, a system that was introduced years ago, 5 years ago probably at this point. So it's just a bit of a shame to not see it implemented on release, but I would love to see it in 1.1 or maximum 1.2. Both overflow and condensed. Both of them. That's right. Both. Don't do it like WoWo when they just introduce the overflow and that's it. No. Both. That's right. I'm greedy. Soon be. Something else that I feel like also should be mentioned while we're still on the topic of stamina is NTE has two types of stamina. There's the city stamina and there's the classic gacha progression stamina. The daily stamina is also important as well for progression in terms of city tycoon levels. That helps you a lot in your progression overall, right? So it's a very important resource to manage. I don't know if this is possible yet or not. In my playthrough so far, I don't think I've noticed it. Why the hell can't we do double, triple claims? Right? Like if I finish a race, for example, why can't I burn through more of my stamina in that one race to claim more of the reward, so that way I don't have to race multiple times or have to do different activities that I don't feel like doing? Because let's face it, some of the activities may hit for some and are misses for some. So for example, for me personally, the only activities I like are the pink heist thing, breaking into the bank and shit. Well, technically it's just a game where you're breaking into a bank. You're not actually breaking into a bank. And the races. The races, I do feel like kind of have a bit of a miss for me personally. That's why I've been really vocal about some of the additions to be added when it comes to the vehicle speed, etc. I feel like those will help the racing experience tremendously, especially since they're trying to push races to be a PvP thing where it could be a community thing. I feel like having a little bit of a special and unique feel to races within NTE would be great. For example, it could be the vehicles maybe that have effects and not more so the characters. They have a lot of venues to explore when it comes to that. And I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity to not explore the racing mechanics and the driving mechanics further. Also, I would like a little bit of a stamina overflow / condensed stamina system for the other stamina resource as well, for both. All right, that would be great if we could have it for both of them. Right, some of you guys may have thought I forgot about the other stamina. No, I got you. We got it. Just fix that too. Hold up, fix that too. Something I want to see added to the game, especially while exploring, is some type of Witcher sense. Now, some of you guys may not know what I'm talking about, but in The Witcher 3 or like Batman Arkham Knights, I think also in the Batman games, there's this mode, there's always this button where there's this detective mode where you can see some of the things close to you that are more highlighted that can be interacted with, right? I feel like that's very important with NTE, especially whether it's the bank, for example. Maybe it could be disabled in the bank because looking around and that rush and the unknown is kind of where the bank heist shines the best for giving you that feeling. But maybe sometimes like I'm just exploring, I'm just doing this or that. I feel like this type of Witcher sense where like you can zoom in and look around what can be interacted with and it's more highlighted to you, the player, I feel like is better than just because sometimes I feel myself like I'm just roaming around so fast, walking and running like an aimless fly in the middle of a room, not just trying to see and pressing F, like trying to interact with the items around me. It's kind of annoying. So like maybe a bit of a Witcher sense to like allow us to be more precise and feel more, you know, farm some aura while playing the game and exploring would be pretty cool. Next, I want to talk about some of the voice acting. I mentioned this before in the video and I'll mention it again. I do feel like some of the voice acting needs a little better direction, a little more better of an approach, especially the lip sync. I think maybe they're doing the good old Genshin route where they lip sync for maybe the Chinese language, but they don't lip sync for the rest of the languages, which can be pretty, you know, immersion breaking. I feel like that needs better polish in my opinion. I've noticed this especially in the battle cutscenes where the battle cutscenes are amazing, but I did notice a little bit of the lack of direction in the voice acting where it definitely felt immersion breaking and it really annoyed me. I was like, God damn it. Like, why did I have to notice that? That annoys me. So, I mean, this was the case for Wuthering Waves 1.0, especially the voice acting was all over the place. Everybody complained about that. This is not something unique to NTE. I do feel like this is something that will definitely be fixed as the game goes on. Next, I want to talk about probably one of the most important buttons in gacha history, the skip button, skipping through story. Now, NTE already has a skip button, thank God, especially with the Tagido quest, Jesus Christ, but they lack a very important component to the skip button, which is the recap. Recaps are very important before skipping. Sometimes just reading a quick resume, a quick recap of what the hell you were going to skip through can really help, because a lot of the times you can easily tell the cutscene is more of a side world building thing, not really necessary to the plot, to the overall objective of the mission you're in. And I feel like a recap could definitely help with just streamlining some of the experience. It's like watching through an anime. You always hear some people tell you, look, when you get to episode X, just skip all the way to episode Y, because that's just lame. It's just fillers. It doesn't matter. And it feels kind of the same here, but since we don't know what is filler and what is not, a recap can definitely help us a lot, taking in the story and taking the story how we, the players, see fit. If you don't want to skip, you don't have to skip. And if you want to skip, at least there's a recap where you can quickly absorb everything and go from there. I think a recap is something that we see in a lot of other gachas, especially the gachas that NTE is competing with. So a little bit of a recap there would be very much so appreciated. Next, I want to talk about something that will probably get me crucified once again in the NTE community, but I'm gonna stay strong in my hill over here. Add flight and swinging that we see in Ananta in NTE as well. I think different modes of transportations would be cool. Don't eliminate the car. If anything, I think, like I said in the start of the video, they should expand on cars and bikes, add a little bit more to them where they feel more special. The experience of driving is more unique to NTE than any other game. But I do feel like also gliding can be very annoying, especially if you come from Genshin Impact.
So slow.
And if you've experienced flight like in Wuthering Waves, it definitely feels like a missed opportunity to not have it here. I mean, Hether is very beautiful, and you can imagine the graphics of NTE as you soar above the sky in it. It should be very beautiful. Swinging is also something that Ananta is introducing that, I'll be honest, I really thought Wuthering Waves, for example, in 3.0 would definitely be, because they were taking away flight, they brought it back. Couldn't live with your own failure, so where'd that bring you? Back to me, right? That's Flight looking at the Wuthering Waves devs. But I seriously thought like we were just gonna have a replacement for it. We had the bike, but I seriously thought it would be something like swinging around. I think that would have been very, very cool. And because what will also have swinging in like some of the main story quest cutscenes, they always like to have this, you're running from chaos and destruction, you have to keep swinging around, right? That's pretty cool. And Anta is introducing it as well. I think that'd be a great addition. Now, someone in the comments mentioned a great idea, in my opinion, that I think should be included while we're talking about the different modes of transportation is skateboards. And while we're still at it, maybe even rollerblades. Like rollerblades that can allow you to scale through buildings, right? And skateboards that, you know, you can do tricks and maybe flip through cars, etc. Like that would be very, very cool. Huge shout out to the commenter, man. I think that is a fantastic idea. And I just threw in a little bit of something myself when it comes to the rollerblade. You know, a gadget that can allow you to scale buildings, because I have to mention this to close off the video. This is the last request I have. Nanali already can do this, because I can hear a lot of you. Nanali can already do what I just said, and that is alarming, because we do not want to see qualities of life locked behind characters. We want to see them locked behind gadgets. Maybe you can have a little bit of a cooldown. For example, if I have Nanali and I want to be rewarded because the damage is already done, like Nanali is already here and she's already supposed to. One of the appealing things to pulling Nanali is being able to scale through that. Trust me, I know. I have an A1 Nanali. I can scale through buildings, but I still would like a better way to go about it. And I feel like rollerblades that they don't make you stick like Nanali does, but at least allow you to maybe like gain a lot of speed and momentum as you climb a building and then hold there. Right? That can be very helpful. Same with the skateboards, etc. I feel like qualities of life like this should be in gadgets and not characters, because I don't know about you, but you remember Genshin Impact, especially Natlan, when they released like the green guy and then there's the leopard girl. Like, those are qualities of life a lot of people wanted, but they were locked behind characters, which pissed a lot of people off. Now, Wuwa does this. There's some, let's just say, traversal qualities of life, but they don't have the same impact like they did in Genshin Impact. Now, I have a little bit of a fear here when you see a Nanali scale buildings and when you see Lacrimosa, because a lot of people are speculating that why add flight when Lacrimosa can fly by turning into a bat. That's alarming. I don't know why people are saying that's good. That's not good at all. Lacrimosa should have maybe flight that can keep that. That's fine. But maybe because flight also has stamina, the benefit of Lacrimosa is extended stamina for flight, not a complete addition to flight in your account. That shouldn't be the case. So please, if you want to keep qualities of life like that in characters, that's fine. But they should only be extensions to already existing generic qualities of life that any character can use. Do not limit them to the MC, going back to my first point of the video. Those are some of the things I've noticed. I think the gacha system is totally fine. I don't think there's anything to tackle right now. Maybe we can discuss this later down the road once we start to see maybe cracks in the matrix. But for now, I think it's just perfect. I don't have much complaints to that one personally. I think the NTE gacha system, especially when it comes to the casino part, is definitely by far the most fun gacha experience I've had when it comes to tackling the gacha system. So yeah, I think that was basically everything I've noticed. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Maybe we can make a part 2 of what you guys want to see NTE do, and I can cover all of them over here in a different separate video, all you guys this time around. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hype up the video. I'd really appreciate if you could. Be seeing ya.